All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network and the Starcom Radio Network. Worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. And you can listen to the X Zone 724-365 at www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is NORIO Hayakawa. He is a gentleman who has led a one-man crusade to reveal the true nature of Area 51 and how research beginning to be conducted inside Area 51 is being done to gain control over humanity by sinister forces of the New World Order. Now, the last time we had NORIO on the show, he said, "That's it, I've had it." And we've asked him back on because it's been nearly a year now, NORIO, since you were last on with us, and it's always great talking to you. I thoroughly enjoy the time we spend together. And what's new with you, and what have you been up to?
Hello, Rob.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me again to on your show, because I felt that it's important for people to know where I stand on things, and so it's my pleasure to be here this evening.
NORIO, since the last time you and I talked, it was in October of 2014. What have you been up to? I understand you've got a new blog, NORIOHayakawa.blog.com, and bring us up to date.
Oh, yes. First of all, I quit Facebook recently because I thought that it was just a waste of time, and there were too many flames and flaming posts and so on. And besides that, it's endless. And rather than that, I just decided to put my opinions and information on my new website, which is NORIOHayakawa.blog.com. And if you look at this website, I have some very interesting topics, and these are topics that will not go away, because despite the fact that I had claimed that I am going to resign from any research and activities, I still from time to time gather information, and although I am not an active researcher, I still get a lot of information from people. And so I decided to put only the main important things on my website, such as the latest information about Area 51, how it's still expanding, and I even posted a picture of the parking lot of the Area 51 employees' commuter plane terminal in Las Vegas. It's just jam-packed with employees. And I put that post of this secret U.S. government airline that handles the transport of employees at Area 51. And so this subject, Area 51, is still a very interesting and important subject, especially for us taxpayers, because we have every right to know the real truth of Area 51. And, rather than Area 51 being undermined, actually, Area 51 is still expanding. It's as busy as ever, and I just posted the latest photo that shows a massive new hangar that was completed last year at Area 51. Massive. And nobody knows what that hangar is, for. It's about 4 times as large as H-18, which until now was the largest hangar at the Area 51 complex, H-18. But
wow.
This new hangar is 4 times the size of H-18. So there's definitely something still going on, and it will continue to go on. And then, of course, the other subject that I am always interested in is the subject of the alleged Dulce, New Mexico alleged underground base. Even though I have said many times that I have not seen any physical, tangible evidence for a physical underground facility in or near Dulce, there are still ongoing reports of local people who keep reporting of sightings of strange lights and strange aircraft during the daytime. It still goes on.
Right, but with all the years you've been keeping your eye on Area 51 and your great new blog, which is at noriohayakawa.blog.com, is what's going on there a matter of national security? Is it military, or is there extraterrestrials involved?
Well, that's one thing. I hate to come out with any definitive statement as far as the alien aspect of it. I have not seen any single documentary evidence indicating Area 51 having anything to do with alleged extraterrestrial technologies. There's none as far as document-wise.
Right.
But that does not mean at all that something is there, on that line. But even those people who have worked over there for so many years, and there is an association of former employees of that facility called the Road Runners Internationale, even those members of that former employees say that they just don't know everything about that place because they were involved in highly compartmentalized programs, and that's how they operate. So they seem to say that they only know about just about maybe about 5% of the entirety of the facility.
How about Dulce? Do you think the underground base there has anything to do with extraterrestrials, or are we treading upon more and more matters of national security where the government is installing underground bases so that they can conduct their work without having to worry about overhead spy satellites?
You brought up a good question, Rob, and my tendency is to think that that place could be, if it exists, could be related to some form of national security interests. We can't see the facility, and that does not mean that it doesn't exist.
That's right.
And, contrary to most misinterpreted interpretation, there's nothing, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing under the Archuleta Mesa, but we must focus on Mount Archuleta, which most people have never heard of. And Mount Archuleta sits on the northwest section of the humongous Archuleta Mesa that borders the Colorado state line. and it's on Mount Archuleta that we have to concentrate because in 1983 there was a reported crash of a triangular craft that crashed on Mount Archuleta, and the state senator Pete Domenici of New Mexico started to inquire about that incident through Paul Benowitz. And so we're talking about something very, very realistic, that if the triangular craft that allegedly crashed on Mount Archuleta in 1983 was a CIA aircraft of some sort, then naturally it will be of tremendous national interest, defense interest. And so this point was brought out by an author by the name of Greg Valdez, who's a friend of mine, who wrote this great book called The Dulce Base, The Truth and Evidence from the Case Files of Gabe Valdez. A couple of years ago, he brought out this point that if the CIA aircraft did crash on Mount Archuleta in 1983, then that will give more reason to suspect the CIA presence in part of Mount Archuleta. In fact, here's my speculation that at one time there may have been a suspected CIA-operated off-site aircraft test facility over there, and a possible biowarfare lab in that location right near the boundary line of Colorado. And I'm talking about a mysterious ranch called the Redding Ranch. And I'm not sure, Rob, if you have ever heard of the Redding Ranch at the foothills of the northern foothills of the Mount Archuleta, bordering Colorado. And if you go today to that area, you can still see some suspicious guard towers,
right?
About 4 of them, and also what appears to be an aircraft hangar in the distance. And unfortunately, this whole ranch was bought out by Colorado's Indian tribe called the Utes, and it's off limits to the public. So this is a fascinating thing, and somehow or other, because of the possible existence at one time of this possible CIA-operated off-site aircraft test facility in that Redding Ranch, it's very possible that some kind of a cover story involving alien and so on may have further developed to confuse the public, or to confuse the researchers.
I understand that Robert Bigelow investigated the Redding Ranch going back, how long ago? A couple of years. Going back to, what is it, 2010?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I think it's earlier.
Really?
But anyway, Robert Bigelow allegedly investigated that Redding Ranch, but it's my kind of a suspicion that he gave out a very insufficient report saying that there's nothing over there, and he quit investigating. And a friend of mine, the late Gabe Valdez, who is in New Mexico, who was a New Mexico State Patrol officer in charge of Dulce, who accompanied Robert Bigelow in that investigation and went to that ranch, was wondering why suddenly Robert Bigelow and National Discovery Sciences group suddenly abandoned to further investigate it. So this is highly questionable, as far as the Robert Bigelow's supposed investigations of the Redding Ranch. I personally believe that there's definitely something at Redding Ranch even now. Of course, no one is permitted to enter the ranch. The ranch itself is located at the northern foothills of Mount Archuleta, which is right near the Colorado state line. And so once again, I tell you, Rob, people have been looking at the wrong direction for the alleged Dulce base. People have been, guided towards Archuleta Mesa, which is right next to Dulce, but there's nothing over there. So, whatever the case may be, this is something of tremendous interest to me because I live in New Mexico, and I'm very interested in these allegations because it involves our hard-earned tax dollars, and we need to know at least. We need to have some assurance that these projects exist and that these are for a national interest. But
how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you get the government to admit that there is an underground location, there are secret locations, and yes, we've been doing these we've been working on these secrets for years. And how do you do this without tipping your hand to the powers that are not friendly to the United States, and that could ultimately, I'm saying, interfere with your freedom, your democracy, and your safety?
Well, that's a question that I cannot answer because if there's a power that is controlling the government, the government within the government, we cannot do anything at this moment.
Yeah.
But that's why the only thing we can do is to let the people know about these possible locations. Rob, as I mentioned to you that in general, I have actually withdrew myself from UFO research.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that I am not interested. I am interested in realistic issues, and here's just a brand new news item. And I posted this item in my website NORIOHAYAKAWA.blog.com, and the title is "The Only Publicly Accessible Viewing Location for Area 51 in Nevada May Soon Come to an End." And this is a very, very breaking news as far as Area 51 is concerned, because everybody knows that the only publicly accessible viewing location right now for Area 51 is a location called the Tikaboo Peak, which is about 25 miles away from Area 51, and it's still publicly accessible, to climb this mountain, which is 25 miles away, but still, with a decent set of binoculars, you can actually see the whole facility. But what is happening right now is that there is a possible military takeover of Nevada Wildlife Refuge, and there is a plan right now in Congress that could split the Desert National Wildlife Refuge, which is located north of Las Vegas, right next to the up to the Area 51 area, and That's right, and this means that if the Air Force is going to take control of that whole area north of Las Vegas under the guise of, protecting a desert national wildlife refuge, and, this means that they could actually close any dirt roads that lead to Tikaboo Peak, so that nobody would be able to see the facility in the distance. So this is a very, very interesting development. As I posted, a little while ago, that there's a massive new hangar that was just built in Area 51 at South Ramp. Mm-hmm. It's south of the South Ramp of Area 51, and it's so remote that not even the Area 51 workers know what's going on, because it's not in the middle of the Area 51 complex. It's way, way, way south where there's nothing. And here suddenly is a tremendous, almost like a 7-story building. Equivalent of a 7-story building, and it's definitely a hangar. We don't know what for this is, but so now the Air Force is saying that they want to control the huge area north of Las Vegas, going up to that boundary line of Area 51, and that means that soon they could have this whole place off limits to the people, and block any roads that leading to the places like Tikaboo Peak.
I understand that for some people this is raising flags, but what about the majority or the rest of the citizens who aren't into government cover-ups, government conspiracies, New World Order, shadow governments, and other topics of this nature? Is it as important to them that these things are going on, or is this just a local matter, or is this a topical matter? Because when you look at it from the outside, it doesn't seem to be so bad. All right, so the government is taking more space. They're expanding their experimental flight area. They want people to totally stay away. And you know what? You've got to blame a lot of this stuff on the so-called UFO conspiracy theorists, because they constantly break the law by going onto property where they're not supposed to be. So what is the government supposed to do? Are they supposed to just say, okay, listen, we're not going to do anything about it. You guys will play this tug of war. And, if it does happen to interfere with national security and more people get killed, well, you know what? So be it, because you want to have your little way. Or should they, in all good conscience, be able to develop secret military airfare, tactics, whether it's the CIA, the Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, whoever? What is the main fear here? Is it that the government is doing something clandestine, or is it because you just need to know?
Well, that's the mainstream tend to believe that, yes, the Area 51 is a very important, national defense interest, a part of national defense interest, and that's
Sure.
how most people look at it. But, as I said, there's no proof that that location is just for that national defense interest. There could be some more deeper reason, and that, of course, is related to the possible, let's say, let's say 5% of something that could be, some kind of ominous programs going on over there, then of course, the Air Force and those people that's involved in this, will have to answer.
Well, what possible ominous program do you think that the government or other aspects of the government could actually be involved with that would require this type of security?
Well, and the first aspect is the let's say that if it's true that they are hiding some kind of alien-related program, although we cannot prove it, but that means that they're hiding something. Now, of course, they have every right to hide our important things like weapons program for our defense, but we're talking about possible other things, like maybe extraterrestrial presence. We have no proof that they don't. They are not doing that.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this: if there was, in fact, an extraterrestrial presence that was being concealed using nefarious methods, would we still need to send space probes out to Pluto? Would we still have to send space probes to Mars? Would we still have to use solid rocket fuel? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. If this is the case, then we're wasting a lot of money developing superficial programs like space exploration and NASA and so on. There's no need for that.
Well, Go on.
Yeah, there's no. If they are indeed hiding the presence of extraterrestrial technology at Area 51, for example, or in alleged Dulce area in New Mexico, then all these other programs, which are superficial programs, such as the NASA programs and space exploration programs, is just a total waste of money, and that's why I'm concerned.
Well, you see, I agree with you 100% that if, in fact, Area 51 has anything to do with crashed UFOs, dead aliens, living aliens, whatever the case may be, and that reverse engineering, as purported by many people who believe in the UFO phenomenon and the alien presence here on this planet, doesn't make sense, because if the reverse engineering and ETs are here, UFOs are here, we would not be using the technology that we are using today.
Exactly, and the technology should be shared, in the public.
Yeah,
and that's a very important item. And surprisingly, there are very credible people, at least apparently credible people, such as Paul Hellyer, who was a former defense minister of Canada, who has been saying, loudly recently that the U.S. is covering up the existence of aliens among among us. In other words, on Earth.
Do you want to know something? I interviewed Paul Hellyer at length. He did not, and I asked him point blank, while you were the Minister of Defense, did you ever have any reports of UFOs over Canada put in front of you or discussed with you? You know what his answer was? No. He only got into the UFO field after he had retired from politics when somebody sent him a book on UFOs. That's where his expertise comes from. Not while he was in office, not while he was the deputy prime minister, not while he was the minister of defense. After he retired and read a book on UFOs.
Yes, that's what I have also thought about that. And, you know, this is part of, I'm not saying that he could be part of, an effort to
Sure.
brainwash the public into believing in UFOs. I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but his case is just like, the spread of either disinformation or misinformation, which was exemplified by persons like Richard C. Doty.
Yeah.
And so, you know, as I said, there is not a single credible evidence anywhere that there is an alien presence right here on Earth. But this is something that we don't know, and we just keep going, discussing all these things. And so I'm not a closed-minded person to deny all these possibilities, but I take a stand firmly on credible evidence. And, you hear of many astronauts, or not many, but some astronauts like Edgar Mitchell,
Yeah.
who openly says a lot of things that most people in the mainstream do not, take with in seriousness. But I don't understand why there are people who seem credible that make some strange statements.
You know what? I've come to a very simple conclusion on this. When it comes to people like Paul Hellyer or Edgar Mitchell, what else are they going to do? How are they going to? They've had they were in the spotlight for so long. They get out of the spotlight, they miss it. And here's a question for you, Norio. With all the computer hacking that has gone on lately, with WikiLeaks, with Edward Snowden, wouldn't it be to the benefit of any country that is not friendly to the United States to find or have in their possession information about extraterrestrials, UFOs, and how the government of the United States and other countries that are friendly towards Canada, the United States, have been suppressing this information or committing a cover-up? Wouldn't that be to their benefit if they would release the proof to show that the government and democracy is based on a lie? And yet, it hasn't happened. Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, any of the hackers from Russia to China, nothing.
You're absolutely right. Like I said, until we see definite documents, everything else is speculation. And even though I have departed from active research into in ufology, as far as going to the locations and investigating, I still hold ufology as a very important topic, sociologically and psychologically and religiously. And there comes my interest, is the effect of the belief system of at least a segment of the public. Could belief systems affect society or affect governments or affect the entire world in the future?
Norio, stand by. Stand by, my friend. You and I have to take a very short commercial break. We'll be right back. X-Zone Nation, Norio Hayakawa. Wow, let me get this one to get right. Norio Hayakawa is our special guest. His new blog spot, www.noriohayakawa.com. NORIOHAYAKAWA.blog.com. Visit it. I'll be back on the other side of this short break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Wondered if your advertising dollar is really working for you? If your ad would have been here, you and more than 4 million people would be listening to it right now. Contact ads at xzoneradiotv.com. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Exonation, my guest this hour is NORIO Hayakawa, and his website, his new blog is NORIOHAYAKAWA.blog.com. Now, Norio, before we went to the break, you mentioned something about the connection or the implications of religion when it comes to the UFO phenomenon. How do you explain that?
Well, this is a very important topic, and I will always, continue to research this topic because, it's all about beliefs.
Sure.
And, this is why I posted this item called UFOs and End-Time Beliefs of Apocalyptic Christians and Some Cults. And that's the title, because beliefs are very important, and among a segment of the population, there are in the United States still a very strong presence of so-called fundamentalist or evangelical Christians, and there's a tendency to involve the state of Israel as far as biblical prophecies are concerned, and the evangelical Christians, of course, totally seem to support Israel because of the belief that contemporary Israel is a fulfillment of biblical prophecies, and that the U.S. must continue to support the state of Israel no matter what. And this is a very important aspect of beliefs, the end-time beliefs of that important segment of the public, which I would describe as, of course, far-right Christian evangelical type of, the segment of the population, which has definitely a power over the American politics. And I'm not going into politics, but I'm just going into the type of beliefs that this community called the fundamentalist evangelical community, which supports Israel, and this, of course, becomes political, but it's just part of the, I would say, belief that affects our policies. In other words, there are a lot of people who believe that Iran and Syria will play a major initial role in the end-time scenario, as depicted allegedly by in the Bible, such as in Ezekiel chapter 38 and so on, and leading to the world government, and then eventually leading to Middle East conflagration between the Israel and the Palestinians and all Islamic confrontations. But because somehow all these beliefs are tied in with these fundamentalist Christian beliefs, such as the rapture and so on, and but this is you can't get away with this kind of mentality because it fits the world view of a segment of the population. And so I posted this item about the importance of understanding the beliefs of fundamental Christians and evangelicals as far as this topic is concerned, and this involves UFOs as well, because the majority of America's evangelical or fundamentalist Christians seem to believe that the UFO phenomenon is part of a deceptive, diabolical phenomenon, and but they also believe in the the establishment of a global power in the end times, and they actually seem to believe that we're living in the end time period. In fact, there are so many folks in the internet who are into this. Some even allegedly believe that I forgot the name of this program that Jane Helm or something that is supposed to occur, this year in September or something. But the internet is just full of these end-time scenario believers.
Well, the internet, my friend, in my opinion, is the biggest septic tank that mankind has ever created, because there's more crap in it than anything else.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to. This is one of the reasons why I left Facebook, because you just a lot of people on Facebook, especially the so-called UFO community, I would say, has been brainwashed by nonsense and things that I would call almost pseudoscience. Yes.
I wonder what people, like I post my shows, who's going to be on the show, things about the show. That's it. But when I see people, pictures of the bird in their backyard, or this is what I'm eating for supper tonight, and stupidity like this, like, don't these people have lives?
Exactly. They spend the whole day trying to post unimportant matters, and it seems it's just like it's just about themselves. That's why I left things like the social media.
Yeah.
Because to me, the social media, some of them might have a good purpose, but the bulk of the social media is geared towards just self-aggrandizement and self-aggrandizement and satisfaction.
Yeah.
And it's all about themselves.
You call it that. I call it sheer stupidity.
Yes, I would say that too.
But you're nicer than I am, Norio. You're a gentleman. I just call it the way it is.
But Rob, I sure appreciate programs like yours, because you seem to take a very neutral stand on this type of topics, and especially when it comes to UFOs, and because it's nevertheless it's a very interesting subject, and it's important. Yes,
it is very important.
That affects a lot of people.
Yeah, but I had a guest on the other night. Okay, what was his name? Just give me a sec here. I can't even remember it, because he was a doctor. He was a reverend. He had a church. That's a 50. What is it? A 501c in the United States, not for profit. He's got his wife, and a secretary, and they do all of these. You ready for this, Norio? He gets all the aliens out of the lives of the people, because aliens attach themselves to people. And I'm listening to him, right? And then he says the Queen of England is a reptilian because he says a little prayer, and then he can see the real shape of the people. And this guy just went on and on and on and on. And I said, how do you take these people serious? Like, you know what? Anybody can get a website. Anybody can do a lot of things these days. Anybody can get any number of friends on Facebook that you want. But where does reality set in? I had Pastor Harry on the show a number of years ago, and he said the 666 in the Bible equates to WWW. And at the time I thought he was a complete nut. But now I sit back and I say, you know what? Maybe Pastor Harry wasn't that far out to lunch.
Yes. I think this is the fact that there's a lot of brainwashing going on, and most people are just have a difficulty trying to distinguish what is fiction and what is nonfiction.
Yeah.
People are more and more, they are getting very weak to discriminate, or they just have a very weak capability to measure the truth to nonfiction with nonfiction. So in this sense, I commend your program, because you seem to take a very, very logical stand on things, on these matters.
Well, that's because I have guests like you on the show, my friend. You see,
I'm really glad, and I stated on your show last year, I believe, that I am withdrawing myself from these nonsense, and the bulk of this topic is just nonsense. But I decided to, I cannot completely withdraw myself from getting real information, and that's what I continue to do.
And I'm glad you do. I'm glad you're there, Norio. You are a breath of fresh air into the realm of reality that is so sadly missing out there.
Yes, I would say so, and I'm just getting tired of this. The bulk of ufology that is basically it's a business. It has become a business.
Big time. Big time.
Yes.
But you know what, Norio? I've been doing this show for 24 years now. Nothing has changed in ufology. Nothing has changed in ghosts. Nothing has changed in so many of the paranormal parapsychology genres. Nothing. Except for one. The search for Bigfoot. Mitchell Townsend, a scientist, came on our show 2-3 weeks ago with a scientific paper. Took 4 years to write with eminent scientists, in which they have laid out the proof, scientific proof, that another creature, hominid, has been found in the Mount St. Helens area. Now, very little notice was put to his show, his archive. We did a lot in order to try and get this message out there because it is scientifically backed. You know, he would have had better luck if he would have said that he found Bigfoot in a freezer in a cabin near Mount St. Helens drinking a can of beer. People,
yes, I think that's very, very interesting.
People don't want the truth, my friend. I'm going to send you a link to that paper.
Okay, very, very good. Because I'm still interested in the topic of trying to
get the truth,
research,
and
get the information about sightings of these entities, and even this is one of the reasons why I continue to be interested in the.
Hey, Norio, I hate to do this, but we've just run out of time, my friend. Will you come back and further discuss this with me?
Oh, I definitely love to discuss this with you and with nobody else.
All right, buddy.
Because I highly respect your program.
Thank you very much, Norio. Take care of yourself, my friend. Always a great pleasure talking to you. X-Zone Nation, Norio Hayakawa has been my guest. And I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Once again, we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. So until tomorrow night, always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.